Hello. Now, one thing I'd really like to say is if you're if you're this foolish to sit here and try to force your way through the Kundalini. Now, one thing I'll say is if you're able to get through, the only thing you can really do is catch glimpses, right? You can catch glimpses. Here's another thing. If you just think that you're this chakra, that chakra, or whatever is just open, uh, for one, I'm not quite sure why you think that. And on another note, it's like if it really was open, there'd be no ambiguity about it. Like no ambiguity, and like it wouldn't be. It would be very, very clear that it's in full operation, basically. Okay, so whenever it pertains to trying to force your way through the Kundalini, why that's so dangerous is because, well, first and foremost, besides the dangerous aspects of it, you're not you're doing things in a really inefficient and foolhardy way. Like doing that is unironically trying to bypass the stuff. Now, you know how you're trying to bypass? No, there's one way of bypassing that where people they'll just say like, "Oh, I'm enlightened and all this and that," and but they don't actually nothing actually has happened with them. Then there's another side of it where people try to circumvent the stuff, right? Now, I'll say going through is absolutely necessary, and I've spoken on this of how this actually happens. But if you're so foolhardy to force your way through like that, when everything is showing you that you're like actually forcing it, and you're just creating a lot of pressure and resistance. What you're doing is you're risking breaking things in a way that you can't really or easily fix it. Think of a really good analogy that Sadhguru has used before. Uh, is the analogy of nuclear energy, right? Using nuclear energy is the best form of energy that we have access to as humanity right now. But it's also the most dangerous form of energy to use because when it goes wrong in a huge way and in a way that you can't fix it. And Kundalini messing around with it is exactly the same thing. So, like, this is what I'm trying to tell you guys, right? If you're not just straight up getting manipulated and fleeced, then there's like people who just don't really know what they're talking about. Now, I'm sure that there's some aspect of what they're talking about where there's some reality to it, unlike the people who are just fleecing you, where they're just straight up lying, right? But these other people, it's like they don't really know what they're talking about because they haven't actually had very much clarity yet. And so what it is like they're like they're in a dark room and they're kind of foolhardily like bumping around in it and kind of maybe finding their way by like somehow like in within the darkness and through like just trial and error, I guess, of bumping into enough walls. It's like, oh, here's the step to take, okay? But they can't actually see, and they don't actually know, like the path, where to go, and where to go, how to walk it. They don't really know, and so what people the whole trying to force the Kundalini through, it's like you may if you can, and it'll be a real struggle. If you can, what will happen is if you force your way through and you get close to or through to the other side, you may catch a glimpse but you're not going to be able to hold it. And what you see after a few moments, your mind is going to grab onto it and you're not going to know how to let it go. And so you're just going to get dragged back down like a freaking hot, like a very, very dense rock, down, basically back down to the center of the earth, where you're at the bottom now again. And now you have to like start, and now you're just feeling horrible. And it's like, even if you get through the other side, getting a glimpse is just not enough. I mean, I guess it's good, but it's like, how many times are you gonna have to do that? You know, because like, this is what happens with most people. The first time any sort of thing, not even pushing through to the other side like that, but even people who say that they're doing that, most of them never really get there. You know, and like, even if they do, they can't hold it. You know, so they're just there for a period of time. Like, I know I'm kind of a little bit here and there. Like for people who take Joe Dispenza's stuff, right? For them, you know, like it's interesting how, you know, they they do the work and they get to the other side, but it's like like the person, their human being may have transformed from having touched the other side, but they can't stay there. They can't stay there. But what they do is they like practice these things, but the thing is they're really kind of only doing it accidentally and only for very, very brief moments. Now, what I'm talking about is a completely new way. I'm talking about an entirely new plateau. Okay? If you'd like to rise with me to meet it, I can help you. This is my outstretched hand. If you'd like to grab it, I'm going to start putting my information, place where you can contact me, you know, in the video descriptions and on my channel. So, and also I am building a course. It's really a platform that anyone will be able to use, but on said platform I'm going to be building a course, and the course I'll probably release it a little bit earlier. There's levels to the course, and the level will basically be suited to your needs, what it is, your goals, spiritually speaking, and I guess the things that you want to be able to do. You know, like, is your focus on just being able to do something very, very, like, just to have your life work out, you know, in a basic way, but in a way that, like, just like something like, you know, really simple, just everything working, right? But like, not that you have to do anything crazy, right? I got that. That's level 1. Level 2 is for the people who want to be a little bit more capable. A little bit more capable. Now, these are your people who, you know, want to be able to manifest really, really well, who want to be able to, you know, do those various sorts of things. Mostly I'm not going to lie, the second level is going to be mostly for like basic level manifesting, but it's like the kind of manifesting that most people are trying to get, you know, where they want more money, or they want a better looking physical body, or they want a partner and stuff like that. You know, and it's not going to be for someone who's trying to necessarily do anything big in the world, right? Third level is going to be for your saints, sages, and seers, right? This is going to be for the people who are trying to reach that new level of clarity where they can actually see, where their eye is actually open, and not where they think that it's open because their ego grabbed onto it, and their imagination is using the stuff that they've grabbed onto, plus the stuff that they've accumulated, you know, the energy, like, that it was created when you go through experiences in life and you identify with it, so it becomes a part of your identity. And also the information that they've gathered spiritually that has filtered up into their imagination, and that their ego has taken ownership of, basically, and they've incorporated that into their personality, right? But they're essentially deluded. People who actually want to see. I got you. That's for you. And then the fourth level is people who want to become fully open. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is for a level of If you want this, basically you're relinquishing your life over to the divine, and your life is no longer yours. Okay? So what I'm speaking of here is uh, a path of essentially devotion. That if you go on this, but it's more than devotion. Like I'm talking about a path that's opening you up completely, basically, and it's going to take everything from you, but in the best way. But it may not feel like that when you're going through it. It might feel like hell. This is for you if you want to be someone like that, someone who can walk in the world and have absolutely no problems. And in fact, you being anywhere, even just alive on this planet, makes this place a better place. If that's how you want to be, where your life is no longer a life of doing and of physicality, but of one where you are in like conscious co-creation with the divine. I'm not talking about manifesting in like the sense that most people are talking about. I'm talking about you and God are working literally together, like in an open relationship with the divine. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Now, if that's where you want to go, that's the fourth level's for you, but that is limited to a certain amount of people because that like requires quite a bit, and I don't have enough time to do it with a bunch of people at a time. And also, I don't think there's a lot of people who are going to want something like that. I think there's probably a lot of people who hear that and they probably think they're going to want it, but when I start getting into what it is that's it's requiring of them, they're probably not going to want to do it. And they're probably going to want to, maybe if people like that, they might be like, oh, okay, I get it. Maybe the second level or maybe the third level. And sometimes maybe even the first level, because the first level is honestly for people who want a lot of stuff in the world, right? Who really, really want just what they want, and they don't want to have to ask any questions, but they think, whenever I start describing the levels, they're going to think, oh, I want number 4 because that means I'm going to get everything. But it's like, no, that you're really for level 1 or maybe even level 2. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, that's the video. Expect more from me soon. Bye-bye.